This is the plaintiff, Jennifer Wojnarski. She says she and the defendant lived together for a short time, but the woman was so bossy and mean, she couldn't take it for long and moved out. Now, she's having one heck of a time getting all her belongings returned. The defendant's a spiteful, angry woman, but she isn't gonna let her get away with just stealing her things and is suing today for the $1,712.13 she's owed. This is the defendant, Christine Perkins. She says the plaintiff got physical and verbal with her, so she kicked her out of her house, and the woman stole things. She also owes for utility termination fees. The woman's a menace to society, and if anyone's owed money today in this courtroom, it is not the plaintiff. She's accused of being a rotten roommate. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,130 for all she's now out.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. These litigants lived together for a short time. It turned out to be impossible. Plaintiff says the defendant won't return her stuff, but the defendant says the plaintiff got physical with her. It's the case of get a roommate.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Wojnarowski?
Yes.
Okay, you're suing Christine Perkins, who you used to work for and in whose house you used to live, for $1,732 and items that you say she is refusing to return to you. You have a counterclaim against her for $2,130 in items that you say she either broke or stole. Let's start with you. What's going on here? How did you two meet?
We were acquaintances from riding the bus.
Okay, so you would see each other at the bus stop?
Yeah.
All right, and then how did it come about that you ended up moving in with her?
She knew I was homeless, and...
Were you living at a shelter at the time, or?
No, I was living in a tent.
In a tent, okay.
And she decided that she doesn't like seeing people in need like that, so she suggested that I come and stay with her for the winter.
Okay, and in return, what were you supposed to do?
I was supposed to do nothing, but I offered, out of the kindness of my heart, to be nice and help her.
Okay, I'm sorry, because the answer to your complaint starts off with the following sentence. The defendant had been in an accident in the summer of 2017 and needed help getting to and from doctor's appointment. I moved in to help take care of her and to take her to her appointments. So it wasn't just the kindness of her soul. You were supposed to be doing something for her.
No.
Well, then why'd you say
first.
that? That's your complaint. I just read from. I don't make this stuff up, guys. Why did you let her into your home?
Due to the fact that she was homeless and I needed someone to help me after my accident.
Okay, so what did you expect from her in terms of helping you?
To take me to my doctors, to help me go grocery shopping, laundry, things that a PCA would do, which is a personal care attendant.
Okay, it goes, I guess, well enough for a bit. When did it go bad?
It started to go bad around Christmas time. She would frequently have short-term memory lapses and lose her temper over small little things. Like I'd tell her something one day and then 3 days later she'd forget what I said due to her memory lapses. And I'd repeat myself and remind her about it and she'd flip out.
Okay, so, but you stayed there for quite a bit longer. When did you finally leave?
I left in July.
Right.
Of this year.
So it was manageable at least because you kept living there and it was rent-free, so it worked out. What made you finally leave? Did she throw you out?
No, it was manageable because I kept telling myself, just hold on, you're going to get paid eventually. And then in July, I couldn't take it anymore.
Okay. When you left, why didn't you just take all your things with you? Because you're suing for numerous things that were left behind.
Because I had no way to get them out at the time.
That sounds like a you problem, right? So when did you end up in front of a judge and asking for the ability to go back and get stuff?
The middle of July, because she decided to try and get a restraining order against me.
Did you try to get a restraining order?
Yes, I did.
And on account of what?
Due to the fact that my witness couldn't come today, she slammed the door and hit me in the face with it that belonged to my second bedroom and kept verbally abusing me, mentally abusing me, and in public she was physically abusing me. I have several people.
How did she physically abuse you?
But I was in a wheelchair for several months. And
how did she physically abuse you?
Pushing me in the wheelchair through stores and stuff and just leaving me in stores, leaving me in the middle of a McDonald's where numerous workers that knew my stepfather had to call him to come get me with a cart full of groceries in the middle of Hartford.
Like she completely left
and got on a bus and went to my house.
Okay. All right.
I asked her to leave because I called the cops twice and her Bristol wouldn't do anything, and New Britain Court wouldn't even give me my restraining order after family said she was high risk.
Her family?
No, family services.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about the property she's claiming. She says, okay, you tried to get a restraining order and they wouldn't give it to you. So what happened at that hearing? Did the court say anything about the peaceful transfer of property so that we wouldn't?
He asked me who I felt was a mutual person I felt comfortable with. I said my father-in-law.
So did the judge enter an order saying on such and such a date there'll be a transfer of property?
He gave her to the 30th of June.
And then, so what happens on the 30th of June? I thought she left in July.
No,
it was June, Your Honor. That was my mistake.
Okay. So then how does the property get transferred?
I arranged for my father-in-law to come and help her get the stuff out.
Okay. And did that happen?
That's because my sister put it all in bags.
Now, when you got there, were you escorted by the police there or no?
The police escorted me, yes, but I was not allowed into the property.
So when you got the stuff, were you able to tell that there was stuff missing?
Yes, and I kept repeatedly asking, something's missing, where's the rest of my stuff? She insisted, there's no such thing of that here.
All right, so then you filed this case because according to you, there's several things that weren't in those piles. The first thing that you've mentioned is a fold-away cot.
Yes.
All right, now, according to you, anything you didn't give her was something that was a gift for the house?
The cot started out, my boyfriend put money towards that, and I was meant
How much did he put?
I'm not sure how much he gave her because I didn't see the exact amount.
How much did the boyfriend?
It was $20, Your Honor.
Okay.
But the point being is it was meant from his children to stay at my house, so they had something other than couches.
Yeah, that's fine until it's not. When it's not, who owns the item?
Still, he put money towards it, and he wrote a letter to prove it.
Let's see what he writes on the letter. I gave Jennifer money towards a cot. How much money? This is just handwriting on a piece of paper, and it doesn't even say how much money he gave. So according to her, it's 20. You don't know how much it is, so in this courtroom, the only proof is that it's 20. All right. The shelving unit, is this metal?
Yes, it's a metal shelving unit.
Okay, and your answer to that is that was a gift to the house, and she doesn't get it back.
Because it was given around Easter, and the fact is, she said, here, for Easter, this is going because you need it in the pantry because everything's all over the floor.
Okay, but when you guys break up, you understand you own some things, she owns some things. There's no such thing as a gift to the house, okay? All right, let's talk about the cable bill and the electric bill. Now, you can't have a cable bill and electric bill in your name, you said in your answer to the complaint.
Because of my ex-husband, I went through a divorce 7 years ago, and he screwed up all my utilities for me.
So
and
apparently there's a big amount owed, so they won't open up electricity or cable in your name unless you pay that bill. It's in your name.
It was court-ordered to him, and he's MIA.
Okay, but it's in your name. That's why you have a problem. All right, so she tells you, can you put the electrical and cable in your name? All right, so you do that.
Yes.
And then what happens? The bills come in every month, but you're responsible for the bills. There's no dispute about that, right? Mm-hmm. All right, now, according to you, there is a cable bill outstanding and an electricity bill outstanding.
Yes.
All right, what is your defense to paying those bills?
I have the last actual physical bill that came to my house, and it's paid, and there's a confirmation. And I have a letter from
I'm sorry, what does that mean? Who paid it?
I did.
Okay, show me the last bill that got paid. What month?
The last bill that actually came to my house.
No, I don't care about the last bill that came to your house. I care about the last bill that wasn't paid that's in her name.
And here's a letter.
This is July 23rd. Yeah, that 123 didn't get paid either because it's in the next month's bill.
There was a 123.10 right there with a confirmation.
Correct, and you wrote here paid.
That's when I paid it.
Right.
And there's a confirmation right on it.
You know, there's your handwriting. That's not a confirmation. You have to distinguish between evidence and what you want to be evidence. Your little handwriting on a bill doesn't prove it was paid. You claim it's a confirmation number. I am showing you the exact opposite of what you're saying, which is the cable company saying that's the previous bill, 123.10, payments zero, and on August 8th, a bill goes out that says you still owe that as well. All right?
BS says the plaintiff hit her in the face with a door. Let's listen.
You just said something about here's the proof that there's a cancellation fee. What was that about?
A cancellation fee, because once you, in my building, once you cancel lights, it automatically goes into the landlord. I didn't even know it was canceled till one day I went.
What did you think was going to happen, sweetheart? The police are involved, restraining orders involved, and the bill's in her name. What, you didn't think she would cancel it? This is the consequence of not being able to have bills in your name because you owe a bunch of money. That's a consequence of it. All right, let's talk about your counterclaim against her. According to you, she stole your nebulizer?
Yes, she was the last one with it in my house. And when my sister
Did you steal her nebulizer?
No,
Do you
ma'am, I
have
did
proof
not.
that she stole your nebulizer?
She was the last one with it in my house.
Is that the level of your proof? Do you have anything else? All right. Now, you're suing her for a mattress and box spring because according to you, what?
They were not broken when she moved in, and she was the only one sleeping in my bed for the amount of time she was there. And after she left, I went in my room. They were snapped in half, and there are pictures to prove it.
Do you have pictures of them snapped in half?
Right there's my mattress.
How is that snapped in half?
Because it's hard to see. There's my box spring.
Okay.
You have to zoom in to see it. It wasn't like that before she moved in.
Do you have pictures of it before she moved in?
No. Oh, that's her sleeping bag with female stuff on it.
Do you mean blood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I try not to use certain words to be polite to you.
Blood you don't use?
No,
you
I didn't want to get into that because watch the video.
You submitted a picture. You did want to get into it.
That's the room she stayed in. After she left, I took that video.
What are you doing going through her stuff?
Watch. I'm opening something. That is the toilet with the maggots on it.
I can't tell what I'm looking at.
That is a camping toilet.
Okay, yeah, I know. That part I can tell, that it's a toilet.
My brother-in-law threw the toilet away because of my health. I have asthma.
All right, now, there were 2 shoes I looked at 1 second ago. According to you, she scuffed those up, and you want $90 for those. You say you had a $600 couch repair. Do you have a receipt for that?
All I have is my contract from Rent-A-Center that I've been ongoing paying.
What did she do to your couch?
She slammed herself on the arm of the couch. I said, excuse me, I just heard that snap. Well, other people sit on it too. I said, nobody sits on that arm but you, and this is the last time.
Do you have any proof of what you just said?
I was the only one in the house.
Okay, how about proof that there's a $600 repair?
In the picture, there is a picture of it. Right there, that's the arm of the couch. You can see where it scoops in.
Did you break the arm of the couch?
I was the last person that sat on it, and I barely put my butt on it, and it broke.
Okay. How old is this couch?
Not even a year.
May I see your contract? Did you look in the contract to find where it said that repairs would be $600?
I tried to while I was on the phone with them, but it's very hard for me to understand that. I have a third grade reading level.
Oh, you actually paid for the ability to not have to pay them for repairs. It's right in here.
Well, they told me just to look at the contract.
Yeah, I know. I just did. But you didn't, so I did. And it says that you were paying an extra dollar something to never have to pay for a repair. All right, so now, Rug Doctor, $40. Do you have a proof that you paid Rug Doctor $40?
I can't find the receipt.
All right, and that would have been for what? That would be her fault?
2 times. Once she was sitting on that couch and she's shaking her legs. I said, Jennifer, what's going on? I have to use the bathroom, but I'm in the middle of a game. I said, take the game with you to the bathroom. When I'm finished with this level. After she finishes, she gets up and the back end of her, she's going to the bathroom all over my rug. The back end, number 2. That's the first time. She calls me into the back bedroom. I go, what's up? I look down. There is a pile of number 2.
Okay, what is that about that she's talking about?
I did have an accident, but that was because I could not make it to the bathroom in time because I was in the middle of trying to get something else put together.
Right, but you know, when duty calls, duty calls. Pay attention
I understand
to duty.
that, but I had my hands
But she says it happened twice?
So if the plaintiff pooped in the rug twice, can the defendant throw her out?
Absolutely. Maybe the first time I'll let it slide, but not the second time.
Poop me once, shame on me, right? But what if it's an accident?
Yeah, but 2 times I don't think so. She should be thrown out.
You don't get 3 strikes?
No, it's not habitable.
Okay. Going inside the courtroom.
The walker, you're suing for $200 for a walker. What's that about?
She would take me to the doctors and to get me out of the house, take it, and it's too heavy. Boom, throw it down the stairs. Now I can't use one of the brakes. And I'm having a hard time because of the type of insurance I have. They won't go together. I have to pay out of pocket. And my whole...
Prove that you have to pay out of pocket.
I don't have the
Okay,
thing with
the
me, but
locks,
it's broken.
according to you, you paid $100 for locks. Can you prove that you had to pay $100 to change your locks?
Well,
No proof of that either. Okay. And then the last 2 things on your lawsuit against her are the cable termination fee and electricity termination fee. Did you pay it?
Yes, I did.
Do you have proof that you paid
My brother wrote the letter saying I did.
No, it's not proof you paid it. Anybody can write anything on a piece of paper. Do you have proof that you paid
Let
the
me pull it
$300?
up on my-
I'm going to tell you why I question that. I've got the cable bill in front of me.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull up my bank statement.
Okay. While she's looking for that, the one thing you and I didn't go over that you say she didn't return to you is a jewelry box.
Yes, The jewelry box and the jewelry that was in it, unfortunately, the only jewelry that I have proof of are the items that I bought.
All right, can I ask you, according to you, you returned the jewelry box?
There is no jewelry box at my house. There is no such, I was told it was custom jewelry. There is none.
I think she meant costume jewelry, right? Not custom. What did you mean?
I meant costume.
Okay, all right. So, but in any event, where's all her jewelry?
Any jewelry that was purchased is highlighted on this bank statement, and it was purchased by me. The jewelry that she bought is in said
Okay,
question.
but I don't understand. Is it her jewelry or your jewelry?
Jewelry that was supposed to be a gift, and I purchased it.
Okay, so what'd you do? You kept it?
Because the way she treated
why
me
did
when
you keep it?
Because as it was purchased, as she was slamming doors in my face and stuff, I gave it to her, and then she started treating me like, I'm not going to use the word.
But Your Honor, the jewelry that I have, proof that I paid for, is all, it is not costume, it is sterling silver and gold-plated sterling silver. I bought it from Fingerhut.
I have a question for you. Until today, your lawsuit for jewelry was $220. How did magically today it triple? How do you think that makes you look?
I understand how that makes me look, Your Honor, but I am telling you the truth. I am, Your Honor. It's just that I did not think of it until last night when I was going through my evidence and realized it.
Well, then there's a cost to that. All right, Ms. Wojnarowski, I am looking through your evidence. As to the cot, I think you are right. So I believe that you're entitled to the $212.89 on that. You're entitled to the cost of the shelving unit. You've been able to prove that. You're entitled to the cost of the shower curtain. You've been able to prove that. As for the cable and the electrical, I find that the person who's supposed to be paying those is her. And I find that she's going to pay them. But she's not going to pay them to you. She's going to pay them to the cable company and the electric company. So if it's true that you paid it already, it'll be zero. You won't have to pay it again. So before you leave here, we're going to find out through my staff what the final cable and electrical bill is. And that'll stop you from having to pay twice. All right? Now, as to the jewelry, it's a little stickier. I have you saying a bunch of things, ballooning it to 3 times its size. That concerns me. But I have her admitting, yeah, I gave her gifts and then I kept them. That concerns me too. I am going to order her to pay you $200 for the jewelry that's in there.
With what?
That's $581.94. That takes care of your lawsuit against her. On your counterclaim against the plaintiff, you have no proof on the nebulizer. You have insufficient proof that she broke the mattress and box springs or the shoes. The couch repair, let's put to one side right now. Did you break her walker?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
You don't have any proof on the walker or the locks, and we've already handled the cable and the electricity. So I am going to order her to pay you for the shampooing of a rug, because according to you, you hired somebody?
No, I went and got the machine.
The machine.
From
Okay.
Price Chopper.
All right, I'm going to buy that you had to do that because she admits to that. So on that $581, I'm going to deduct $40, and that makes $541.94 that she has to pay you for the missing items. She has to pay the cable and electrical that is in your name, which we'll figure out, and that'll account for the $300 you say was paid, if it was paid. The issue of the couch repair, you are suing for $600 for a couch repair because according to you, the contract I read is going to show that you have to pay that. The contract I read, as I went over earlier, shows you do not have to pay that. However, she did break your couch. She says, well, I was very light on my feet when I sat on the arm. But she admits to that event, her sitting on the arm, breaking the couch.
Your Honor, I'm not the only one that is...
No, there's no question pending for you. So there's a value to having a broken arm of a couch that is annoying to have to see in that picture. So I am adding another $60 to your recovery. Your recovery is $100, and that brings down her recovery $481.94. That is my verdict for the plaintiff of $481.94, plus the defendant's going to pay the cable bill and electrical that is in your name, and that takes care of the defendant's counterclaim, which I find entitles you to $100 off of the plaintiff's claim. Good luck.
I didn't know I found the evidence I paid.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Doug will talk to the litigants in the hallway.
So the plaintiff is going to recover just a little under $500. It's a lot less than she was seeking here in the People's Court. Ms. Perkins, how do you feel about the outcome of the case?
I'm not happy. I feel that she used and abused me, and she should not be getting anything. And I did find the proof that I did pay the cable bill, the termination fee, and I am willing to show the judge as soon as possible.
You can show that to the court. That's okay. Good luck to you, okay? All right, Ms. Wojnarowski, I don't know. What do you think? You were asking for a lot of money.
Yes, I was, but I had proof of everything. And honestly, last night while I was going through my evidence is when I realized that there was a lot more that I would.
Well, you filed the case in court. It's up to you to put it together. You know, you can't blame the judge. Can't blame anybody but yourself.
Yeah, I
Sorry
understand
about
that.
it. You were homeless when you came.
Yes.
You got involved. But yet you up and moved out of her house. Where'd you go? Where are you living now?
I'm not at the moment. I sleep wherever I plant my butt at night, and I barely even sleep. But at least I got a job, so things are going to get better now.
All right. Well, good luck to you. I hope you find a place to live. Okay? Thank you very much. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, I mean, look, let's talk about how to deal with situations like this. If you live with somebody and you are not getting along, or you're even at war, at a point, you know, nobody wants to live that way. Ask the other person to sit down and then say, look, I want to figure out an exit strategy. I don't want to blame you, but let's figure out a way of working this out for both of us.
This is the plaintiff, William Jackson Jr. He says he and the defendant lived together and shared the expenses, but when she moved her boyfriend in and still expected him to pay the entire 50% of things when 3 people now live there, well, things went downhill fast. Then one day she locked him out and she refuses to return his belongings or give him access to them. That's not fair, not cool. That's why he's here in court today, suing her for the $5,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Lenitra Randall. She says the plaintiff's mistaken because she split the bill 3 ways with him while her boyfriend lived with him for the short time he was between places. As far as his belongings go, she made numerous attempts to get him to come pick the stuff up, but he never did because he had no place to store the stuff. Now he's suing her for them? Please. She's accused of being a rotten roommate. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $931.99 for unpaid rent and utilities.
All parties, please hit your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. These litigants were roommates, but the defendant moved her boyfriend in and wouldn't pay his share of rent. The defendant says the bill was split 3 ways while the boyfriend lived there. It's the case of, I want a 3-way.
Thank you, Douglas. Mr. Jackson, you used to live with Ms. Randall?
Yes, ma'am.
As housemates?
Yes.
Okay, and then everything's going well until it doesn't. Did you have a written lease between each other or no? Like a separate sublease? All right, so
Just
go on.
verbal agreement. September, the boyfriend started coming around. She would ask me first, like, can he come over? Is it okay?
Is this the boyfriend?
Yes.
Or is this a new guy? This is the guy, right? The guy in question? Okay, go ahead.
And October, he moved in for a few weeks till he found his own spot. A month and a half into it, the power bill was $134, and in November it jumped up to $195 with him being there. The water bill was $62 and jumped up to $85, and I felt it was right for us to go 3 ways on everything.
So did you bring that up with her?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you bring that up with her?
I texted her on November 26th, told her I needed a break. I felt like he needed to leave if he can't pay 1/3 of the rent bills.
And what did she say?
She disagreed. She said that they were already splitting her 50%.
And then who was paying the utilities?
We were all splitting it.
You were just splitting it?
I was paying 50%.
And 2 people were paying 50%? That's not fair.
Correct.
All right, go on.
On December 29th, I got fed up paying 50%, and he's still living there, and the utilities going up and up and up. I added up the rent and all the bills, divided by 3. And that's
So
what
now
I did.
it's the end of December, and we're talking about January, and he says, I think I should only pay 1/3, and then what happens?
On January 2nd, she sent me a text that I need to prepare to move out. She wrote up a 3-day notice, which I have here. On
She gives you a 3-day notice and then does what? She locks you out.
Yes, correct.
What day does she lock you out?
On January 7th, I went to work, and when I came home, all my clothes was out. Bed.
What was out? Clothes and what else?
All my clothes, one dresser.
All your clothes and a dresser were in the hallway. Did you lock him out? Did you change the locks?
When I had the locks, I had the leasing office change the locks. He was there.
You can't lock him out.
The leasing office didn't
Stop. You can't lock him out. You're his landlord. Can your landlord lock you out?
I thought I could if I don't pay.
No landlord can lock out the tenant. You have to go through court. You have to actually go through an eviction. You can't lock the guy out. Is this truly a surprise to you?
Yes.
Like right now is the first time you realize that?
This is the first time I've ever been in this situation, yes.
Lordy, lordy. So a bunch of trash bags with a fan on top and a dresser. Okay, and so what do?
I pack it all up in my vehicle and call up my cousin in the middle of the night and ask if I can stay with them.
What efforts do you make to get the stuff that's inside?
On January 8th, the next day, she contacts me by text to
Let me see. Is all this on text?
Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
see it in the phone?
Sure.
So what's your story? Why is it okay that he move in and that he still pay a portion of his rent? And why was that okay?
That's not what happened.
Well, he moved in.
Yeah, he moved in, but
the minute he moves in, were you two sharing a room?
Yes.
Was it a 2-bedroom?
Yes.
Okay, so, some figuring out is what was in order.
Mm-hmm.
So, how long did you live there? You're the cause of all this problem. I hope you're satisfied. How long did you live there?
Ma'am, I had moved. My lease friend out, and I moved in with her, and I didn't stay long. I had start working in Mariana, Florida, with FEMA for a while. So I wasn't there like that.
He still lives there, Your Honor.
I was there, but I'd come down every 2 weeks and stuff, and go back and start working stuff like that. But I had to pay my half too,
Half?
I paid $650.
You paid what?
I paid $650
To who?
to her to stay.
Now that you found out that the rent was only $925, how you feeling?
I mean,
So what's half? Then you were paying all her rent. And then some. Okay, Nene, that's you.
Yes.
Says to you, good morning. We'll need to arrange a good time for you to pick up your chair, TV, stands, and bed. I'll be leaving to go to the Bahamas this week, so let me know what works best. And then you ask, Saturday morning good for you? He gives you some question marks, and you say, no, I have an appointment Saturday. Also, I've started school. He says, no, I have to work. I have extra hands set Saturday morning. Can you arrange for someone to be there? Mm-hmm. You say, I'll check, and I'll hit you up after my appointment. So on Saturday at 6 p.m. is when you say, hey, Will, Dante will be in town sometime next week so you can get your things. What happened? Did you guys talk on the phone?
No, that was after I rented a U-Haul and was outside with a police escort.
Why wouldn't you answer if the police and you could get all the stuff out of there right then?
No, Your Honor, I was not there. I did not know that he was there. I was doing hair that Saturday, and I had 3 heads.
And then you say, what happened to you calling me after your appointment today? You waited all day to tell me to come next week? So he's asking you, look, I'm outside. Can I get my stuff? Hello, hello. And you ignore him. You got some nerve. On February 4th, you text him at 6. Oh, I just want to bottle up your nerve and sell it. Hi, you don't have anything at my house. The things you left inside were donated, sold, or given away prior to this. Your refusal to remove your belongings when asked, especially from outside my door, resulted in a fine when our building got inspected. Nene, have you lost your mind, woman? So you're suing for the items that were inside. You've added a fire stick worth 2 fire sticks worth $150. When did you come up with that all of a sudden today?
Connected to the TV
Okay.
that I didn't get.
Family member. You left a family member in there? $300?
I had to move in with a family member that night. I got kicked out and gave him $300 for rent.
Your
for
family member
utilities.
charged you $300 to take you in the night you're kicked out? Your family member needs to be excommunicated from your family.
But I was.
All right, January rent of $445. So you want back because you got kicked out on the 7th.
Correct.
I get that. Okay. Let's see your counterclaim against him. You're counterclaiming him $931.99. Part of that, $218.90, is a balance owed for December bills. Now, you're also asking for $462.50 for January rent. How you figure? You threw him out on the 7th in an illegal lockout. And he'd already paid $308 for that.
Okay, so if you have two roommates and one of them moves a boyfriend or girlfriend in, do you then have to split the rent 3 ways? Is that required?
It's technically not required by the lease, but for consideration and emotional compensation, I would say yes.
Yeah, well, emotional compensation, take it to Dr. Phil. I'm talking legal.
Yeah, I don't think legally it's required, but yeah, if you're being a good person and want to be a good roommate.
You think it's legally required?
Legally required? Yeah, by contract they are. I mean, well,
how is it by contract? If you have 2 people,
they're not legally required.
2 people on the lease.
If there's 2 people on the lease, then yeah, it's not legally required.
So what can somebody do if they move a boyfriend or girlfriend?
If they plan to be there.
Yeah, what can you do if they're there all the time and they say, well, I'm allowed to use my room for whatever I want?
They should go to where they're renting and say the third person is going to be on the lease.
That's why you should be coming to some sort of agreement before you moved in with.
All fair points going inside the courtroom.
He didn't pay for January rent, Your Honor.
On December 29th, they paid you $445, right?
You're right.
That's right. Part of it is electricity. Miscalculated, so say you, because he has no right to make it only a third. And the other part of it was rent in a third. It's not enough, so say you, because your guy wasn't living there anymore. I've got that. But the rent portion was for January.
Okay.
Which you threw him out. All right, folks, I'm going through all of these bills, the cable bills, and let's establish a couple of things. First of all, you did an illegal lockout. Bad on you, okay? You understand that some bills come in after you leave for the period of time that you were there and enjoying it, right? Yes. So you acknowledge that there's going to be some bills that come in January that you're responsible for. All right. There is a ton of stuff there that you should have made available, and you weren't all that cooperative. But I also note that you weren't all that eager to get it because in the beginning you didn't have any place to put it, and then after that you wanted new stuff. So that stuff is there now, and it's intact. And what I am going to order is that there's going to be a date and time set for you to pick up your 2 TVs, your 3 TV stands, your bed, your recliner, your 2 fire sticks that you say are on the back of it, your air mattress, all of the physical stuff that's still inside that apartment. So that's how that portion of your lawsuit is going to get taken care of. Now let's discuss the 2 U-Hauls you had to hire. I agree with you. You should be entitled to that. And let's discuss, you want $300 for a family member who charged you $300 when you went to flop on his couch? I don't think so, because I don't believe you. And you want the return of the January rent. I could sit here and slice and dice and try to figure out, well, you've been 7 days and divide it. I'm not even going to do that, because shame on her for throwing you out. Anything you paid for January rent, you should also be entitled to. All right, so that means that what you paid of that $445 in rent was $308.33. And what you paid in utilities was the remainder, the $136.67. I'm going to take that $308.33 plus your U-Haul bill, and that's what's on your side of the ledger, and now I'm going to get to you. Let's see what you're suing for on your counterclaim. All right. You're mad that what he paid was a third of the bills for December and a third of the rent for January, and you calculate $218.90 as being the rest of what he owes you for both. Well, here's the rub. I tend to agree with you that your remedy is not to you on your own sua sponte like your Lord of the Manor to decide that you are going to change what the rent agreement is. Your remedy is to give her 30 days notice and move out if she's doing stuff that you don't want. You can't just change the rent and change the bills without an agreement between the two of you. So I find that you really were entitled to half. Now, the half would be of the utility, because you're entitled to bupkis on the rent because you kicked him out in an illegal lockout. So that's why he gets the whole $308.33 back. And let's discuss what he owes you on the utilities. When I do the math on that, it's an additional almost $65 plus the water bill, the cable bill, the electric bill, and I find what he owes on that is another $98.02, not the figures you're asking for because your figures are all messed up. So that means that he owes you $102.76 legitimately. So if I take the figure that I say you owe him and I subtract the figure that I say He owes you. You still owe him $284.31. Verdict for the plaintiff, and nobody leaves this courtroom until my bailiff sets up with you a date and time when that is going to happen, and set it sufficiently in advance that you can have a police escort. Okay? Good luck, folks.
Okay, so we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, Doug is going to talk to the litigants in the hallway, so stick around.
Well, after a lot of mathematics on the judge's part, turning her into an accountant, you know, you got to give him back $284.
Yes.
You got it? You okay with that? You understand? You locked him out. You shouldn't have done that.
Well,
That was a no-no.
well, I understand that.
In legal
part,
terms,
but
a no-no.
He broke our verbal agreement.
Well, the judge has decided you did him wrong.
All right.
And she did a lot of other figuring, and that's her decision.
That's fine.
Okay, good enough. Thank you
All right.
very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Goodbye and good luck. All right, Mr. Jackson, how do you feel? You know, this is put the judge to a test. A lot of work for her
Yes,
part.
sir.
Yeah. You okay with this?
I feel like I should have got compensated for my new items that I had to purchase, but it is what it is.
And are you going to follow the rules of the judge and go get your stuff? now?
Absolutely.
You work it out with Officer McIntosh and with the cops, you'll go get your
Absolutely.
stuff.
I have no problem
And I
with
hope
that.
it's all right.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
For your part.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye.
All right.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, look, I mean, there are all sorts of rules that landlords have to follow, and tenants too, when you have roommates. I gotta tell you something. Not only are you not allowed to lock a roommate out of an apartment, but there are some states that actually make that a crime, where if you lock them out, you could end up going to jail.
This is the plaintiff, Dalton Lyell. She says she and the plaintiff worked together, and she moved into her two-bedroom house, and the rent was $450 a month. One day, the defendant asked her to prepay a month's rent because she was broke, so she gave her $450 in advance. Turns out, the defendant didn't pay her share of the rent for a few months. Now the woman won't give her back the $450 she paid her in advance, so she's suing. This is the defendant, Amanda Alpizar. She says she told the plaintiff she wasn't going to renew her lease, but then changed her mind and decided to stay. The plaintiff told her she was going to move out anyway and demanded her rent back. This wasn't their deal, and she had no idea the plaintiff was going to leave early and move out. Since the plaintiff was the one who changed their agreement, she feels she doesn't owe her anything and thinks the judge will agree. She's accused of rubbing a roommate the wrong way.
All parties, please use your radios.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff and the defendant worked together, ended up living together, but it didn't work out. The plaintiff says the defendant stiffed her. The defendant says the plaintiff bailed early, so go pound sand. It's the case of rubbing a roommate the wrong way.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Dalton Lyell, you are suing Amanda Alpizar for $450 in rent that you had prepaid, and you didn't end up staying. Tell me what happened.
So I met Amanda at work. I was in a situation where I needed somewhere to live. She said, you can move in with me if you pay me $450 every month. So I moved in November 24th, I think it was, gave her the $450 the next day, I think. And after that, probably 2 weeks later, she was fired from our job.
Why was she fired?
She was late a lot and absent a lot.
Okay.
So she didn't have a job for the whole time after that I lived there. She did.
And where is there? Is it a house? Is it an apartment? What is it?
An apartment.
Okay. How many bedrooms?
So, 2.
Okay.
2 bedrooms,
and it was just
2
the two of
baths.
you living there?
And we both have a child.
Okay, so the children were also living there.
Mm-hmm.
How old is your child?
He is 5. He just
And
turned
how
5.
old is your child?
She's 3.
Okay, so go ahead. Did they get along?
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead.
So every month, rent was due on the 24th. She would ask me around like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, something like that, if I could pay her rent early.
So were you paying in advance every month?
Mm-hmm.
So you paid in advance in December. You paid in advance in January.
Correct.
And then what day did you pay February 24th through March 24th?
I paid it.
Early February?
Yes, it was like the 4th.
Is that accurate?
5th. That is.
Early February? Mm-hmm. Okay, so then what happens towards the end of February? Or middle of February,
She
I should
told
say.
me 2 days later, after I gave her rent almost 3 weeks early, she tells me 2 days later, well, I'm moving out. And I said, okay, well, instead of having to prorate the money that you owe me, because I paid February 24th through March 24th, the lease was up March 5th. I said, instead of trying to prorate that, I'll just leave February 24th. You can give me the whole $450 back. And
March 5th was when the lease was up. So you just said, look, I'll just leave the 24th and give me back the whole month rent. And she says,
she said, as soon as I start working,
I'll pay you back.
I'll pay you back.
Okay,
basically.
then what happens?
So then I wasn't really there a lot. I was staying with my boyfriend a lot, and I would come there, get clothes. We wouldn't speak. It was just awkward. Her boyfriend and her boyfriend's son were always there. I'm in nursing school, so I just needed quiet, and that's not really her fault. It's my personal preference. I need to study in quiet. So I wasn't there a lot. It was just really awkward. We didn't speak. And then it was February 21st, I believe. I get this text late at night. When are you leaving? What day? What time? I need to know exactly when. Leave my keys on my table in my house. I'm like, well, it's mine until March 24th, technically. So.
Right.
But I told you I'd be out by February 24th. I had finals all that week. So I said, I'll be out by February 24th. And she just kept on and then said, I'm going to pack your things for you.
May I see those texts?
Sure.
Let me get your version of that. What happened?
So pretty much everything she said is correct, other than the fact that she left out that she agreed that she would stay until March the 5th.
Well, but let's hold on. Okay, the first thing that happens is you tell her I'm not renewing my lease.
At that point, I thought I was moving to Gainesville with my boyfriend.
Okay, but had you not been paying rent?
I had not, no.
How many months had you not paid rent?
3 months.
Okay, so is it I don't want to renew my lease, or they're not going to renew my lease?
I have a good standing relationship with my property manager. I rented from them prior to the apartment I'm currently living in. With the lease I still have, I'm still there.
So you had decided that you were going to leave, and you tell her that, and then she tells you, okay, so just give me back that rent I prepaid.
So at that point in time, we were on good terms. We were speaking. So she came home from school that day. I remember it perfectly. I was standing on the stairs. She was in the dining room. I said, okay, well, since the lease is up on the 5th of March and you've already paid, for February to March 24th, we'll just prorate it. We'll divide $450 by 30 days, and that'll be $280. That's what I'll give you. She agreed to it.
And then what happened?
And then, I guess a day or two later is what I have here over text, her saying that instead of her staying until the 5th, she found a new place to live, and she'll be out by the 24th of February. That way I can just give her the full $450 back. And I told her that I didn't have it to give back to her, that I had already paid 2 bills with it, and that I just didn't have it.
Did you ever say to her, okay, I'll give you the money? Because you thought you could, or?
I just didn't want to deal with her anymore.
So you said what?
So I said, okay, whenever I get a job, we'll definitely do that.
Okay, and then what went wrong?
So is it a good idea for two people who work together to actually end up becoming roommates?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
I think you'd see too much of each other.
It's just so familiarity breeds contempt.
That's right.
Gotcha. What do you say?
Yeah, it crosses the line, personal and professional. So you're around them all the time.
What's the danger in it? What's the danger?
I think if you spend too much time with a person, then you could know their pros and cons, and it just is not.
So don't get to know anybody because people are basically suck.
Exactly.
Got your point. Going inside the courtroom.
Instead of her leaving the keys, the house key and the mailbox key on my dining room table, like I asked her to, and like she said that she would.
Because by that point you had told her I'm staying.
Correct.
Right.
She left with the keys. I texted her about 15 minutes after she moved out. I said, why didn't you leave the keys on the table like I asked you to? She said that she'd be returning them to the property manager the next day. I said, why would you do that? I gave them to you. They're my keys. Come to find out, I had a conversation with the property manager, and she went in there and told him a bunch of lies.
Like what?
He wasn't there when she showed up to drop the keys off. His exact words were, I don't find it to be important to repeat what I was told that she said, but pretty much she was trying to get me to kick you and Adeline out of your house.
Okay, so you know it wasn't positive.
Correct.
Okay. Did you go trash her to the property manager?
I went there, I returned the keys. I said, just so you know, I've been giving her money every month and she hasn't been paying rent
Right.
with it.
So how is that, if that's what she did, because that is true. She's been paying rent for 3 months and you haven't. You've been using the rent she's paying you. Meanwhile, you put her in a position where she's not able to continue living there, even though she's prepaid the rent. She's got to find a new place to live because you haven't been paying rent, so they're probably not going to renew because that could be the property manager, but he's not the owner. So, the owner is not going to say, yeah, let's give her a new lease when she owes us 3 months rent. That's not going to happen. So, those things are on you. You tell her by text, I'm pretty positive A, that's him?
No, I call my daughter A for short.
Okay, A and I are moving to Gainesville, so I don't think I'm going to re-sign the lease. She says, so the money I gave you was for February 24th through March 24th, but we won't be there till then, so we'll have to figure something out about that. Yes, we will, you answer. I'm just going to move before the 24th of this month, so you can give me the full $450 back. To which you say, listen, I've paid two bills with the money you gave me. Listen, I paid 2 bills with the money you gave me. Okay, you're supposed to pay rent with it. So I'm not able to pull it out of my behind. I will get it to you as soon as I have it. Thank you for understanding that I have bills to pay and I haven't even started working yet. To which she replies, I understand that you have bills and no job, but I also have to take care of my bills too. To which you respond, I do not know what you're expecting me to say. I don't want this to get nasty, but like I said, I can't just pull it out of my behind. Okay, let's talk about when things get nasty. When are you planning to move out? You answer before the 24th. Your answer is duh. You got a day in mind? Her answer is I live there till the 24th, so I don't have to give you an time. Legally, she's completely correct. And don't tell me what to do. To which you respond, are you ready? Do you remember this text?
I do.
Oh, it's awesome. Listen, the B word, ... Listen, B word. It just loses everything when you say B word. You live here until I say you live here. There's no other way. I can't read that nicely, so I'm only going to read it in the way you intended it. I can very easily change the locks. No, you can't. It's actually a crime for you to do that. And have you asked for your blank, 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 blank. So don't make it that way before I decide that's the only way. And then a series of little AOKs. These are my keys. So if by telling you to leave them in my house on my table means you interpret that by me telling you what to do, then you're just dumb. Get the out. Fabulous. You kiss your child with this mouth. I don't know what, she answers, I don't know why you're trying to make this nasty. I live there, I pay rent there, I will have my things out by the 24th. She's right. You really can't be insisting on a prior date. I'll have your, to which you respond on the 21st of February, I'll have your things packed by tonight. You don't have a right to touch her stuff. Who do you think you are?
That it wasn't right of me. I will acknowledge that.
Okay.
But
so now February 24th, when do you plan on starting to give me the 450 back? When do you plan on starting to give me the 450 back? February 27th, March 12th. When do you plan on starting to give me just copy paste, no contact, lawsuit? Have I got it? Yeah. Okay. I have a couple things to say to you young ladies. One, pick up the phone. This is no way to communicate. It got out of hand because of the intonation each of you were reading into each other's texts. And it didn't need to get out of hand. You were clearly in the wrong. You owe her the $450, and that's my ruling, okay? You're in the wrong legally, you're in the wrong morally, you're in the wrong every which way possible, and you owe her the $450, and I'm ruling in your favor. But take this as a learning experience about what happens when there's no communication between people. If you and I talk to each other, and I talk to you and say, I don't know what you're mad at, you take a step back. That's what happens, because that's called empathy. And what is being lost with your generation is the empathy. And you don't know that until you know it. I hope you think about that the next time you're text fighting with anybody. And then you notice the difference when you speak one-on-one, how much better you feel, how much better you make the other person feel, and how much better the other person feels. Good luck to both of you.
So I know in certain terms the plaintiff prevails in this lawsuit. Ms. Alpazar, you just got quite a lecture from the judge. I'm just wondering, what are you thinking right now?
She was right. I was morally wrong. I was upset the fact that she tried to get me and my daughter kicked out of our house. She agreed to me giving her back $280 and decided to move out early. So.
Well, as the judge put it, you were wrong in every way possible in this situation. I was wondering about the lecture she gave you about texting and why sometimes it can be read wrong by the other person. Do you understand that? Did you get it?
I do.
All right. Thank you very much. You do have to pay. Miss Lyle, so how you doing?
I'm okay.
You all right?
Yes.
I was worried a little bit about you. And you know, all this is going on and you're in finals.
Yes.
How did that happen? How'd you do in your final exam?
I passed them.
You did?
I have 5 months left.
Okay, well, congratulations. Sorry you went through this, you know.
Thank you.
The judge said you're totally in the right, so congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope you're in a happy place now.
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Harvey?
Hey, Doug, when you text and you're in the middle of a dispute, you got to realize that could end up biting you in the butt.